Well, hello, Uber-Tuber-Ubers and all ye others. And if you're here, I'm glad to see you. Short talk in the trailer with the old guy. That'd be me. If you got any other old guys you'd like to introduce into the conversation, feel free. That's what they call the comment section. All these other video guys always telling you to like and, subscribe and blah, 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 blah. I never do that. I don't care about that stuff. I do these videos because I like doing it. You know what I mean? And if nobody sees it, nobody sees it. But I did look at. There's this thing called a YouTube algorithm analysis, something or other. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, it's another app thing on the phone. I hate apps. And anyhow, it'll show you how many views you had in the last 28 days or 30 days. I don't know how they determine that. Probably 28 because that'd be 4 weeks. Anyway, I had over 300 views, and I thought, how'd that happen? Because, for months and months, it was like maybe 50 or 60, and I had a feeling that most of those were mine. Just looking at old videos, see, hey, do I agree with this guy? Is he nuts or what? So anyhow, thank you if you're viewing, and thank you for watching, and if you'd like to comment, I'd like to hear from you. If there's topics you'd like to talk with an old guy or have him, mumble about, then feel free, put something down there below. I got a couple of young ladies and maybe three young ladies who have commented to me in the last few weeks, and and another guy, a young man, and that's 4 comments in 3 weeks. Man, we're rolling. You know what I mean? This is taking off. We're going big time. Anyhow, just wanted to give you kind of a heads up. When I was younger, I didn't used to believe this stuff. People go, well, it's a Monday, don't expect much. It's like, what? And I've heard people say that if you can get a hold of the information, I don't know how this happens, that if a car was manufactured, assembled on either a Monday or a Friday, don't buy it. There's this 3-day weekend thing. There's this weird deal where Mondays are just kind of hazy and Fridays end up working short. We're 3-day weekend junkies here and working to try to make that 4, that kind of thing. And so anyway, I didn't want to do that stuff. I like working. I unretired. I'm formally, really unretired. How about that? Oh, here's today's plug. Looking for that big endorsement check. Modelo Negro, the favorite beer of old white guys. Well, that isn't necessarily true, but it sounds like a great slogan. I think they should run with it. Anyway, having a beer after work here, and anyhow, so I got up about 3 in the morning. The swamp cooler was dead. All the power switches in here were dead. So I've got this crazy old hookup. It's like a dinosaur. Well, its trailer's a dinosaur too. It's older than I am, and so I went out there. It's 3 in the morning. I'm standing there in my bare feet, and I pulled the. It's so old it doesn't even have a circuit breaker. It's got a couple of push-in fuses, great big suckers, about bigger and around my finger, kind of looks like about what's almost like a 20 gauge shotgun shell size fuse, and I keep burning fuses. How am I burning fuses like that? I don't know. So anyway, I lay back down in bed and I said, well, I guess I got to do something about this. And it thought came to me, you know what? I got the name of a Cracker Jack, good electrician. I'll call the dude, see if he can come by. Problem solved. And so I called him when I got to work because I didn't want to wake him up at 4 in the morning. And anyway, he came by. He looked at it. He thought it was looking good, okay. And I got home. The darn thing was dead again. And anyway, the point I forgot to mention, let's carry the story out, shall we, is that I'm laying there. It's 3:40, maybe it's 4:10 in the morning. I don't know what time it is, but it's after 3:30. And poof, the power comes back on. I thought, well, that's weird. Power runs for about an hour, and now after 4, I never really did go back to sleep. I thought that was, oh my gosh, hope my trailer doesn't burn down. This crazy little trailer isn't even worth insuring, because if I insured it and it burned to the ground, they'd give me maybe $1,000, but I'd pay way more of that in premiums. In the last 38 years. I've been here almost 40 years. Can you believe that? I've got to be the oldest existent gringo in this trailer park. There's a lot of Hispanic folks, a lot of good folks, working, people, but a lot of them don't speak English. And I got no axe to grind with them. But the point is that it's very unusual, I would think, for a trailer tenant to be here for 38 years. Well, that stupid electrical service has never been touched. The thing's a dinosaur. And I did get my electrician buddy back. He came, I got after work, and the thing was dead again. And it turned out I just plugged it back in, tried again, hit that darn plug-in thing with my fist. That's how you fix it. Get a bigger hammer. And darn thing, poop, there it was. We got power. So he did a little bit of wire inversion. Turns out of the 2 fuses I got in there, really only one of them's live anyhow. I've been running on that all these years and never had any idea. Somebody's not paying attention. So I'm hoping that'll solve my electrical issues. And in the winter, I'm so cheap. There's an old furnace back there. It kind of gave up the ghost. There's something wrong with the gas valve. I cannot get the thing to hold pilot ignition. And no matter what I did, I tried everything I knew, which isn't much. And, I thought I could get an HVAC guy in here and have him fix it up. Probably take him 30 minutes. Have to get some old dinosaur gas valve to try to retrofit. Because, this thing's really old. And I bet you the guy could put it together in an hour and make it happen. But I didn't want to pay for it to be fixed. So I just used last year, not a solar dish, what do you call it? It's a radiant, what do they call those things? Space heater. But it looks like a dish, like a radio dish. And so it's supposed to bombard, heat forward. Use your imagination. Anyway, so I just closed the door to the bedroom where I'm sleeping. Turn on the heat. That's the only one I need warm. I don't care what this end of the trailer looks like. I'm not here. And so I get up in the morning walking around with a sweater and a jacket on inside, kind of thinking, I can see my breath. Somebody should turn up the heat. Cheapskate. So anyhow, maybe my power problems are solved, I hope. I have no idea about electrical stuff. But anyway, the point is I was all worried this morning. I was thinking to myself, it's 4 a.m. and I was thinking, man, we got to deal with that gas issue over there at that remodel. I've got some issues. Well, it turns out that there's 2 ranges of gas. You can use what's called medium pressure, which is 2 to 5 psi, or you can use low pressure, which is kind of about 8 to 10 ounces, more or less, of pressure. So looking at the system, I didn't see any regulators, so I assumed, well, this is low pressure. The only regulator is back at the unit. At the water heater. Back at the meter. Well, my boss comes in, he goes, well, look here. And we're looking at this furnace. Look at there. There's a regulator. That's a 2 to 5 psi regulator. And I thought, you guys are using appliance regulators inside? And that makes the difference? It's like I told him, I said, look, I've been doing this a long time. I've never heard of that. I always thought that if you brought in 2 to 5 psi indoors, then you had to use a pounds to ounce regulator, which means, don't you know, that the air vent thing on the thing has to be vented to the exterior because it burps a little gas now and again, but appliance regulators never do that. The house is running on medium pressure, and this is the first house I've ever seen, and I was like, wow, wait, ugh. So anyway, I was all spun out about that. Turns out it doesn't amount to hill of beans. It'll be easy to fix. I can cut this new water heater in without any, major hiccups. But then I just wanted to give you this has been a very interesting day. I just wanted to give you kind of a heads up. A friend I know, a lady at church. She might be several years older than me. I don't know. But anyway, her husband died a few years ago, and I really liked Jerry. He was a good guy. Well, he still is. But Christian dude, good man. But anyway, she had a conversation with somebody who had a conversation with somebody, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I got a text in my phone from some guy I've never heard of. Hey, I heard you may be looking for a church. Look here. This one might be what you're looking for. And so it's a Reformed Baptist outfit. And I'm going to give the pastor, a call, a phone call tonight. But, it's only 6:40 or something like that. So I thought, well, he's got a family. Probably let him eat dinner and stuff. Quit being rude. So I thought, well, I'm going to wait till 7:10 or 7:20. Give him a call. So I thought, well, I'll have time to make a video. But anyway, this is kind of a fulfillment of a prayer in my mind. I've been really thrashing around with this for about 6 months now. Been really conflicted. I didn't know what to do about where do I belong. Is there a church home for me? I mean, is there one that I would be able to recognize as the place I should be? This might be it. I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway, Reformed, that's good. Baptist, okay, I'm okay with that. I'm not anti-Baptist, okay? And if you want to dunk your little kidders underwater and make them, go gurgly, gurgly, okay. But as far as I can see, baptism is essentially a holy washing. And so, not necessarily an immersion, but if you want to immerse, I'd call that a washing too, wouldn't I? So, I'm not opposed to Baptists, but I mean, it would be hard to be opposed to Baptists and still retain something, some scintilla of, logical analysis on anything. The world's falling apart. You and I, we're looking at it and thinking, man, I wish there was something I can do. Yeah, there is something you can do. Pay attention to the calling you have on your life. You're not responsible for, say, Europe. You're not responsible for Australia and the Netherlands. Actually, that's back to Europe, but never mind that. You're responsible for the little domain you occupy, right? Do you work? Well, then you're responsible there. Do you stay at home? Well, then you're responsible there. Do you work in a way where you're volunteering your time? Well, then you're responsible there. But in other words, wherever your field goes, however much things you actually do in real time, that's the stuff you're responsible for. Did you do it right? Was it on time? Was it done clean? Is it legal? Stuff like that. And make it right. So when you walk away, you say, you know what? That job is right, and it's going to stay put, and I'm never going to have to fix it again. It's perfect. Well, wouldn't it be nice if everybody did that? How about you start? And so, even if it's something like working a cash register or doing some digital data entry thing, I don't know, there's a right way and a wrong way. And the right way has to do with attitude. Attitude says, you know what? There's a lot of jobs that I'd really rather not do if I had my options, frankly. I don't care so much anymore for breaking concrete and excavating below slabs, but I can do it. And I can make it right. Let's make it happen. See? In other words, sometimes you got to kind of encounter situations, we'll call them, where maybe it's just not so easy. Nothing's straightforward. Nothing's obvious. Everything looks complicated. Well, get used to it. It's only going to get worse. You are the agent of order. You are you're the wall. You're the cop who says, you know what? Whatever happens here, I'm not going to blow my cool. Whatever happens here, I'm not going to cuss you out. Whatever happens here, we're going to get this job done. And when we walk away, we'll both agree it's done right. We won't have to deal with it again. This thing we can put in the rear view. Let's roll. Let's make the next thing happen. See? So in other words, whatever you do in your life, I like plumbing because it kind of files where I can kind of see, oh yeah, that makes sense. So we did a little bit of work today and we kind of made some stuff happen, but gosh, it was so slow. And that young guy I got with me, he doesn't have really any experience at all. He says he's been doing plumbing for like 4 years. I know he's barely touched it. He has no idea what's going on in plumbing. But that's okay. I like that attitude. You know what I mean? How are you going to get your foot in the door? Can you handle the work? Oh yeah, of course. Just start with that. We'll find out on the job now, won't we? But if you got a good attitude and you're willing to learn, I can work with anybody. I mean, if you don't know the first thing about plumbing at all, I can work with you. I mean, I'm not a hard guy like that. But anyway, some people are. Just hang with it. When I woke up this morning, I was thinking, what a weird, bizarro day. And I thought, am I going to have to go through all tomorrow night? That's tonight. Without any power? And I thought, I really want to do that. We just melted the ice cream in the freezer. Big issue. But it is mint chocolate chip after all, so you got to consider that. At any rate, I'm going to talk to the pastor. I'm going to give him a call. And I just want to shoot the breeze with him. You know what I mean? I'm not going to read him the riot act and tell him, well, this is what I demand. He does the best thing I heard about him so far. He didn't come out of cemetery. He did not go to a seminary yet to get, shall we say, orthodoxized by other sources. And this church doesn't have a legitimate teaching elder system in terms of its church government. Not yet. It's brand new. And I just thought, I'd love to be a part of something like that, a brand new church. And if they're Bible believing and if they can deal with old weird people like some of us might encounter now and again, I might shift churches. And I thought, that's a big step, man. My job collapsed at the end of August, and now my church membership seems to be collapsing. I'm going through a lot of changes. I've been doing this stuff for almost 40 years, man. And all of a sudden, it's like everything you knew is beginning to shift. So beware of a false sense of security. Everything we're doing from here on out is kind of tentative. And on the premise of the goodness of God, we're going to have to seek Him for it on everything pretty soon, because the wheels are falling off. But He's in charge, and He knows you need things, and He knows you need love. And guess what? He's the source, He's the author, and He's the goal. And He makes it happen. He makes it happen in your heart. So trust Him. You'll do well. I swear oath. Even raise my hand. Have a good day.